Okay, last but not least, we're going to take a look at the XFCE version of the Linux Mint 20 betas. So we've already done the Cinnamon one and also the Mate one. I'll chuck a couple links up there and in the description if you want to watch them ones as well. We will keep this welcome screen open like we did on the other versions. I'm not going to go through all of these steps because we've already done that, but we will see how the colour switching works in this XFCE version. So most of the suite of applications are going to be the same for the most part, apart from sort of XFCE specific stuff, and I'm going to imagine the file manager will be Thunar. Yep, so the file manager is Thunar as opposed to Nemo in Cinnamon or Kaja in Mate. And all the other sort of programs for the most part will be the same. So what we're going to do is just have a general look around, and I'm going to use this for a few days now while we're waiting for the sort of final releases. So again, like we did in the Mate one, I'm going to set this up as if I would any other daily driver. What we're going to do though is sort of have a look at this panel. So it's an XFCE panel as opposed to the Cinnamon panel or the panels you'll find in Mate, and I actually prefer these panels. I feel that they're a bit more sort of customizable for what I want to do. So very quickly, what we are going to do is jump into a mounted drive somewhere. Here we go, and I've got a little folder here for some stuff that I want to do on this version. So I've got some Plank themes and I've got a little script there of some packages that we're going to install. So what we're going to do is just open a terminal in here. We're going to go sudo bash packages.sh, and we're just going to run that, and that's just going to grab a few packages. I'll tell you what, I might want to do an update first. We haven't done that yet, and I do believe we have a little update icon here. So let's just run the update that it wants to do for us. So let's just go to install updates, and that's just going to be all the Linux headers and the modules and the extras, the same as the other versions that we've already had a look at. Right, we're going to let that do that then, and I'll run this script in a moment. So what we're going to do for now is check out what the default wallpapers this one comes with. So it'll probably be the same as the Mate version. It does appear to have the same spread of wallpapers. So we're going to jump to this one for now. And while that's updating all of that, let's move our panel to the top. So let's go to unlock panel. I'm just going to grab it, chuck it up there, and let's make it a whole lot smaller. So we'll also make it a bit transparent. We'll bring it down to about 80 on the enter and leave. And we'll see how that looks with the Plank theme that we're going to get as well. Nice. Right, let's go on to display, and we'll make it about 26, I think. I think 26 is a good size. Yeah, that looks a bit better to me. Brilliant. Now we are going to remove some of these buttons. So obviously the difference between this version and the other version's desktop implementations is of course the panel, the desktop environment, and also this application launcher will be Whisker now, as opposed to, I'm going to imagine it was the Brisk menu on Mate, and then of course the Cinnamon menu. I actually quite like the Whisker menu. You can change the size of it just by putting that toggle, and it will follow your system theming as well. So let's get rid of some of this stuff. We don't want the Windows buttons for a start because we're going to use Plank for that, so that's them gone. And do we need all these launchers? I don't think we do, so let's get rid of those. And that one is gone. Nice, looks a bit cleaner already. So what we're going to do when this update's finished, I've got a few plugins as well that I'm going to install. One's going to be the global menu that we saw on Enzo the other day. I'll chuck a link up there if you want to watch that. I grew quite attached to that on XFCE, so we're going to chuck the global menu there top left. So I will remove this. I won't move it, I'll move its position. So let's go to move, and we'll chuck the desktop button there. And we're also going to add a workspace switcher. There we go. So let's add that to our panel, but we don't want it there, we want it just before the show. No, we'll have it just after the show desktop button, I think, and I'm going to move the show desktop button to the right of that. So there's the show desktop. There we go, that's a bit better, isn't it? Right, we can lock this panel now. Let's go to lock panel, and let's go to close. Very nice. Right, let's jump into the settings. So I believe it doesn't use Compton or anything like that, it just uses the default XFCE compositor, and it also has Compiz installed as well. So much like the version of Mate, here you can sort of change your compositor to Compiz and do again things like your opacify, dim inactive windows, your desktop cubes, and all of that extra good stuff. But I'm not too fussed about Compiz, to be honest, so we're not going to bother with any of that. Okay, so it appears that the update has finished, so now we can open back that terminal that we had open, and we can just run that package again, that script again with the packages. and then that's going to grab a few things for us. We shouldn't have to interact with it. I do believe I've put the Y flag on everything, so we should be okay. There's only a couple of things there that we're adding. I think GIMP, global menu, and maybe a couple of other things. So memory wise, RAM wise, I think this uses a bit more than the Mate version. Let's go into Thunar again. So I took a screenshot just after a fresh install of HTOP. So we are using 630 megabyte, 643 megabytes we were using at boot, and again it's done the same thing as the other versions, and it's created us a swap file of 2 gig. Right, so is that little script done? It is indeed, so we should now be able to open up Plank. There we go. Right, so we're showing a little shadow, so we want to get rid of that first things first. Let's go into the Windows Manager tweaks, and let's go straight over to the compositor, the XFCE one, and we want to get rid of this, show shadows under docked windows, and that will get rid of that line there. Boom, so that's gone. And again, we're getting doubles of programs on here like we did on the Mate version. I still don't know why that is the case. Okay, so I do believe that's for the most part done. So now let's go back into this data 2 partition, into our XFCE folder, and we're going to grab this shade theme. We're going to copy that into our home, .local, share, Plank. If anyone knows of any other nicer themes with a shadow like that that fits darker themes, let me know, because that's kind of the look I always go for, and I do it with the arc theme that we'll have a look at on this as well. There we go, so that's shade all ready to go, and we're going to bring that down to about 28. No, let's go for 32. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, and that's for the most part what we're going to want to do for the desktop layout. We do want to add the global menu now, so if we're going to add, as you can see, we have the app menu plugin. So if we add that, right, we're going to have to move some things around because I don't quite know where that's placed that. Right, it's placed it right on this end there. So we're going to want it just after the whisker menu and before the switcher separator. Yeah, that looks about right. So now if we open up, say, terminal, so we don't get too many options there, but if we open up Firefox to see if it's got that inbuilt, we might have to do something about that. So Firefox doesn't have it. I wonder if Thunar does. Let's have a look at Thunar. No, so our desktop's done it all like that, so we might have to add some few plugins later on to get it to fully recognise each of these programs. Let's try something like VLC. So VLC didn't come installed, it comes installed when you install OBS. There we go, so OBS, VLC is working with the global menu, and it looks quite nice. I do love a global menu. Perfect. Right, we can get rid of all of this now. So let's test out how this actually changes the desktop colours like we did on the Mate one and the Cinnamon one. So I was quite impressed when we done it on Mate and Cinnamon because it didn't have to repaint any windows or anything like that. Like you didn't have to close it, I mean, to repaint the windows, it just done it straight away. So let's give that a go. So first off, we're going to do the colours, and we're going to go for, let's go for the blue. I like the blue at the moment. Right, so the blue's done it straight away, very nice indeed, and as I said, it will change your address bar there and also the colour of the icons. Now let's see if the dark theme switcher will do the same thing. There we go. I am really happy with that, to be honest with you. Brilliant. Right, what we're going to do is we'll do a system snapshot because I want to see if it's any quicker than the one that we done on Mate, or was it Cinnamon. So we're going to stick with rsync, go for next, and that's just going to make a little first time snapshot for us. And we will also have a look at the backup tool like we did on the Mate version, just to see how that all works on here as well. Okay, so we're going to let that do the default on SDA2, go to next, go for weekly, don't need a daily one really, and we're just going to leave it as defaults and click finish. So that will probably take, once we click create, a good couple of minutes. Right, so it's taking 2 minutes, 4 minutes, so it appears to be a bit less time to wait than the Mate version, so we're going to leave that to do that. Right, so as I'm going to use this to also edit this video that we are watching right now, what we're going to need to do is grab an app image for Kdenlive. So let's go onto the internet now, and of course your default web browser is Firefox across all of the different versions, and it should be pretty much the latest version. So if we go into help and about, it'll be version 76 point something. 77 even. Good, I didn't even know it got an update. So it's version 77.0.1. which should be pretty much the very latest version of Firefox that is available. So now let's grab Kdenlive, and we're just going to get the app image, and then we don't have to pull in any of the stuff for the KDE, it will just all be included in this app image there. Right, let's save that file. So what we're going to do is go into home and make an applications folder for our app images. Create folder, applications, and I do believe I've already got a .desktop file already made for it, or do I? I don't. Okay, I've got one on my OneDrive account, so we're just going to do that. I can't be bothered to write the whole thing out again, so I'm going to blur the screen as I just grab a package from my OneDrive account. Oh, I'm already logged in. I'm still going to blur the screen. Who knows what's on there. Right, let's go to Linux, and I'm just going to grab this Kdenlive.desktop. Save file. Brilliant. Right, let's close that page now. So that will go straight into our... Oh, I've already downloaded it. Oh, I do have my .desktop. I did make it already. Okay, cool. So we can get rid of this one. So as you can see there, we've got a Kdenlive.desktop file. So if we just open that quickly with text editor, I've already filled it in with the new version, which is 20.04.1b, and then the icon will be Kdenlive, and it will pick up whatever icon that we're using. So what we're going to do is cut this straight into that folder we just created called applications, paste that in there. We're going to open terminal in here, and I'm going to make that executable. And as you can see now, it's going to be a green color as opposed to just white text, and that lets you know that that is an executable image. Now what we want to do is go back into our downloads now, and we're going to want to copy this, well, we want to cut this .desktop that we just created into our .local share applications folder, which is, they don't appear to have one just yet, so we're going to create one. And then we're going to just paste that in there. So I'm hoping that it doesn't take too long for that to refresh, and that will appear in our, there we go. So now we have Kdenlive in our application launcher there in your Whisker menu, and it will also be pinnable now, so that should go away. Oh no, I know that we need to do something else. I've had this issue before with Plank. It's the same with the Kdenlive images. We'll worry about that later. I only need it to edit this video anyway, and it's all in there anyway, as I said, like that. I wonder if we just drag that onto Plank, and if we open it, will it open up in that icon, or will it annoy me and open a different icon? Okay, cool. So we've got Kdenlive all sorted now with our .desktop file, so that's all well and good. And let's close that. So that's for the most part what we're going to need to do to edit this video. Our Snapshot has now finished, and it's going to prepare a log there, passing the log file. So let's briefly see if there is any differences here apart from what we already know, like Thunar and stuff. So again, it has Redshift like the other versions. We installed GIMP out of the box. I do like their GIMP icon, the red. Internet, again, it's all the same: HexChat, Thunderbird, Transmission, and Firefox. Celluloid, again, is your default media player. We installed OBS and VLC. Comes with VirtualBox as your music player. Okay, and there is our Snapshot. So we're going to close this now, and we're going to run one backup with the backup tool. I do believe we did open it, but it's not there anymore, so we must have closed it. Let's open up our backup tool now, and then let's run a backup. So let's go for backup now, and we're going to go next, and we're going to exclude one thing to see how it works. So we're going to exclude that picture and go to forward. So hidden files, blah blah blah. So let's not do anything and see what it just picks up when you do it on its own. So we know from the last video it goes to documents and backups, and then it does a little archive there. So there's all that we have backed up. So what have we got? Again, I quite like this backup tool. I might see if it's available in any other distributions. It might just be a Mint thing though. Okay, cool. So that is all working well and good. So let's close that now. And we have an update manager that is now finished. So we're going to reboot. So I'm going to pause the video and do a reboot, and we'll also get a fresh RAM reading to see how much we are now using with the extra stuff that we have installed. First of all though, we need to go to session and startup and add Plank. Let's go to Plank, Plank, Plank. Okay, brilliant. So I'm going to stop the recording, do a reboot, and we're going to wrap the video up there. Like I said, I've gone into more depth about the other stuff in the Mate version and the Cinnamon version as well. So let's just stop this recording and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, we are back. The didn't really go up at all. In fact, I think it went down, the RAM usage. So I think we can expect from the XFCE version, you're going to get about 640, 630 650 we managed to get there. So if we compare it to the other one, 643, so we only managed to add another sort of 7 megabytes. So that is pretty much the standard that you're going to get. Remind me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that appears to be a bit more than what we got from the Mate version that we had a look at yesterday, and of course more, no, not more than the Cinnamon version. So I think in order it'll go Mate, Cinnamon, then XFCE. No, Mate, XFCE, then Cinnamon in order of less RAM usage. So let's cancel that now and get out of this page. So what I want to do before we wrap up is just make sure that the window splitting is all working as it should. So we have a 4-way split. Let's just make sure that works, and I want to see what the default keyboard switching is for things like workspaces, etc. So here is our text editor, which is gonna be a Z again, the same across the other versions that we've had a look at. Well, the same as the Mate version anyway, 2.60 like we saw on Mate. And then let's open up one more thing. We appear to have bits of gaps between these windows. Let's open up a terminal, and then let's get that bottom corner there done. Right, so we've got some strange gap appearing here. I wonder if we've not done that quite. Seems a bit uneven, that, doesn't it, for a Windows split? Okay, what we're going to do now is check the keyboard shortcuts out, make sure that all has some sort of same defaults. So if we go into keyboard, and let's go like that, and we'll see what the application shortcuts are. So that should, obviously, the whisker menu will be binded to Super L. So that's all pretty standard, like you would expect. And now what we're going to do is go into the Windows Manager, which will have a bit more keyboard shortcuts here. So let's find switch to workspace to the left. So do we not have tiling with the super key out of the box? Let's have a look. No, because it's bound to here, you're going to get some issues with conflicting keyboard shortcuts. So if you wanted to sort of have that to work properly with the super left and right to do a split, it might be worth changing that to something else. Like, there you go. So that's now shift and super L. And now what we're going to do is test out the tiling left and right with the super and left key, and then the same for super and right. We've done top right, that's the wrong one. Let's do that again. Right, now let's see how that works. There we go, perfect. And it will restore to the normal window size that it was set before. So all I want to do now is see if there is any set for next desktop or left. So left workspace, the default is Control, Alt and left. You don't get any sort of dialogue in the middle of the screen telling you what workspace you're on though. But fortunately with the workspace switcher we will know because it will be a shaded colour there. Very nice indeed. Right, let's close that. We'll have a final little look at the full settings. I tell you what, let's go into their software manager and have a little go at installing a package and see how that all works as well, because we didn't do that on the other two, I don't think. So that's just generating our cache. One moment. Okay, cool. So someone mentioned that they saw Chromium on here and wondered if it was the dummy package. Let's have a look. So Chromium browser, if we open this up, it should just be, let's have a look, Chromium browser. So let's install Chromium and see how that all works. So that's now installed. So let's open up Chromium. It's not appearing there. Is it literally just the dummy package then? Size 7.2K. Okay, it doesn't appear to actually be there, does it? Right, I'm going to imagine that'll be sorted out in time for the actual final release. What I'm going to do is log in and log out just to make sure that it is actually not there. 1 second. Okay, Plank's not appeared for some reason, so let's open up Plank. Where's our Plank gone? Having some issue with Plank, are we? Let's just kill all planks for a moment and then reopen it. That should sort it out. No, I don't know what's going on with our Plank at the moment. So let's go into internet. Yeah, so it's still the dummy package, so that might need to be taken a look at there because it's still appearing on the store there. So what I'm going to do is basically wrap the video up there. We'll try and install one more thing. I'll tell you what, let's install VirtualBox through the software manager. So let's go for VirtualBox. Let's go to install and done. So I do remember there was some known problems with this on their actual blog about, I think, blank screen or something, but I think that'll probably be okay. So let's see what Flatpaks, if it's got the Flatpak enabled It does, so you get the Flatpak now, and then you also have the repo there, so no Snap, but you do have the Flatpak plugin in your store. So I think for the most part that's all we're going to really take a look at on this version. Let's just make sure that that is finished installing. No, that's still going. So let's go into the settings manager and see if there's anything we want to take a look at in here very quickly. So as you can see, we were using a 2-screen display at the moment. Change the refresh rates, go to advanced, and then do some different profiles. Okay, cool. Right, so VirtualBox is finished installing as well, and Plank has just appeared. So I don't know what happened there with Plank. It was obviously having a little moment there. There we go. So that is how it all works basically. As I said, when the final release comes out, I'll give it a full review. So I think in order of what I'm preferring the most, I think this might just take the cake on the other versions. I think I prefer this to the Cinnamon and the Mate version. I just find I just find XFCE a bit more customizable than obviously Mate and Cinnamon to get the kind of look and feel that I want. I'm quite surprised though that on this machine we was running more RAM than Mate on XFCE. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.